We've been finding pictures, and we found more clothes than what we thought we would, and some of them's in pretty good shape.
Steve Archer walks us through what was his daughter's home. Pink dolls, blankets, and bedding, all a reminder of his little 9-year-old granddaughter Hannah, who was inside Plaza Towers Elementary when the tornado hit.
She did real good all day yesterday. Then about 9:30, she had a little bit of a breakdown. Who made the tornado? Why did the tornado come through there? Why? Because she was in the same part of the building where 7 other children were killed. They were probably no more than 30 feet from her.
Her father, Ben, was in Oklahoma City. Her mother, Deidre, seen here in this photograph, was saved along with 12 others on this street, possibly because of just one thing.
They've got a little storm shelter back there, and it's the only one on this side of the block.
This is the storm shelter where Steve's daughter was saved. This storm shelter helped save a dozen or so people in this neighborhood, all of them crammed down here in this storm shelter. And we're told about 2 or 3 men actually held on to this latch because it wouldn't lock in the storm, and they were struggling to keep it safe, but all of them were able to survive.
This thing was installed in February 7th of 2000 after the May 99 tornado.
Steve's daughter and granddaughter are recovering tonight about an hour from here, while Ben finds a reason to smile amidst all this devastation.
I found her underneath our dresser in our master bedroom, and my whole family's safe now. I mean, Kat's part of the family, and now I know everybody's okay.
The night team's Kristen Farley is live in Moore tonight. And Kristen, East Tennesseans now arriving to help.
That's right, Lori. Knoxville's first Red Cross volunteer arriving here just after 6 o'clock this evening. We drove up to Oklahoma City to meet him at the Red Cross headquarters there and to find out what he expects for the next few days.
It's a Southern saying. We all know what it is. I'm working can to can't. You know, you get up in the morning and you go until you drop.
John Manners has been with the Red Cross since 2002. His last deployment was West Texas, the site of that massive plant explosion. Now, John volunteered to be here in Moore, Oklahoma. He will likely be deployed on one of these mobile vehicles like this one. You guys have extra thanks.
Yeah, we got gloves.
Or at one of 6 area shelters where he will work with local doctors to get vital medical supplies.
Our partners in this are really the key to making it all work. They help us get your prescriptions, they help us get your hearing aids, eyeglasses, all the stuff that's missing.
We also talked with the disaster's Red Cross public relations manager here on site. He told us in the first 12 hours after the tornado hit, more than 3,000 people signed up to volunteer. So many now he can't keep track. He also said he has volunteered at countless other disasters, but never worked one like this in his hometown.
I finally got to go home last night, and I drove down 35 to try to see, I hadn't had a chance to see the Warren Theater yet, and it hit me then that it was 5 miles from my house.
Now, John will be here for a minimum of 2 weeks, possibly up to 3. Of course, we will keep our viewers updated over the next several days. And Jean and Lori, as you can imagine, over the last 36 hours, we have heard so many emotional stories of survival here in the town of Moore. We want to share another one with you right now. Earlier today, we had a chance to talk with Amber Creasel. She explained to us how she saved the lives of her 3 young girls.
My 3 daughters were in the tub. We put them in the tub with helmets on and their jackets, yeah. And we'd had them set aside for storms. And my husband and I put helmets on. He got here just before the storm hit, and he and I knelt in front of the tub and leaned over and hovered over the kids, and we all just kept our heads down and tried to stay as low as we could, and we just prayed and huddled until it was over.
Now, those 3 girls, Amber says, walked away without a scratch. Amber and her husband have some minor bumps and bruises tonight. Reporting live in Moore, Oklahoma, Kristen Farley, 6 News 19.
Well, Jean, we are really now right across the street from the Moore Medical Center. We did want to take an opportunity to show you some of the destruction here behind me. This is what people in the community are dealing with here tonight, just off of Telephone Road. Many of these people just getting back into this area right before the sun went down today to see what's left of their homes and really of their entire town. Now, again, Telephone Road right in the heart of the town of Moore. And we were told by passersby that yesterday no one was allowed in this section of town except for rescue crews. Now, in our short time here today, it was a much different story. With the sun breaking through for the first time late today, many people here in the small town of Moore came out for the first time to see what was left. We also ran into two sisters still searching for answers about their aunt and uncle.
They were heading toward the east. We don't really know where their appointment was. We don't have all of the information. This is our first time down here.
Sisters Malin and Mallory Landis say communication has been difficult, if not impossible, because of spotty cell service. So right now, their family has split up, trying to account for everyone.
We're really used to this. It's horrible, but I mean, we're really strong people. It's really rough because I have a few friends who are actually graduating from her high school this Saturday, and they've lost their homes, and it's really crazy.
As neighbors walk down Telephone Street, volunteers have finally been able to mobilize to get meals to those told not to leave their homes.
These folks in this most affected area do not have electricity. They do not, in many cases, have water, nor do they have gas. So they're unable to cook. If they had medication, particularly stuff that required refrigeration, most of it's been lost.
Randy Terrell is a former state representative. He said right now, basic necessities are in high demand.
We delivered 700 meals back in there, and I can tell you we heard multiple comments. Thank you very much.
Now, Terrell went on to tell us that the tornado actually hit about 8 houses down from his own home, but he just had minor damage, and he said it's very important that he and others really focus on right now the people who need the help the most.
6 News anchor Kristen Farley joins us now live from Moore, Oklahoma, with the latest on the situation there this morning. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Bo and Tirsa. We are live now about a mile from where we just last broadcast about a half hour ago. We are actually just outside the Plaza Towers community. That name probably sounds familiar by now because of Plaza Towers Elementary School. If we can pan over here, you'll see incredibly dark. No power here in this community right now for most of the residents. Again, there's another sign, the officers blocking the entrance to this community. They really want to keep people in and out to a minimum at this point. But what we have found here, as expected, an outpouring of support. What you're looking at, I'm right in the middle of kind of a makeshift donation center. It didn't start off this way, but take a look. We're talking hundreds of shoes, clothes, shirts, sweatshirts, food, water, all of it right here. And joining us now is Shelby Hayes from Lawton, Oklahoma. And Shelby, thank you so much. You guys came down from Community Church, which was about an hour and a half away. What was your initial goal when you arrived here?
Initially, it was just bring everyone power, bring everyone water. You know, we saw the news and we were just like, we need to help. So we got up, we got a generator, we got a tent, we got our church donated 25 cases of water, and we just came up here with just those, few things with generator and outlets and stuff, and it's just come up here, help everyone, get people the support, help, communication they need.
It was my understanding you guys set up around 1 o'clock yesterday morning, so been here just over 24 hours. How did it turn into all this? Back there's bedding and bags of clothes and sleeping bags and towels and toiletries. How did it get this big?
Well, like I said, we started off small, and then out of nowhere, we've had people stop by, can we drop off water? And we're like, yeah. And I mean, like I said, went from 25 cases to, it's all over there now. It's about 200 to 300 cases. I mean, we've had help from Wasso, Duncan Church. I mean, just churches. We had a party bus come by, and they just dropped off pre-made sandwich packages. Just everybody in the community, all over Oklahoma, all the Oklahomans are coming to support and help.
It's my understanding, too, that overnight, since I was here last night at 11 till now, a family with 4 young children actually came up, and some other families who literally had just the clothes on their back.
Yeah, we've had a lot of families who come up with nothing. I mean, literally, they go back there, they see their houses are destroyed, they come out here, they need water, they need food. I mean, we have diaper supplies, we have everything. And these clothes, these donations, they really help. I mean, people can take a bag or 2 or 3 of clothes, water, food, whatever they're going to need these next couple days to get by and to survive.
And the generator, you guys started as a charging station, and that might seem so small, but so significant to so many people because they rely on their phones to let people know they're okay.
Right, and I mean, we started off, we got here, like I said, 1 in the morning, and it started off, we were helping the FBI and the cops, and they were just charging their phones, and then we got random reporters coming in charging theirs because they needed to get through, and then it started more and more people who needed to get hold of loved ones, who needed to get a hold of their family. So it's just, I think it's been a real help to everybody.
Well, Shelby, I know the people here in Moore appreciate you, and so do we. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Not a problem.
Stay safe out here. All right, guys, as you can see, just another example of the outpouring of support. Immediately when we arrived to town, we found people reaching out like this, and again, as the residents are allowed to now start going to assess the damage or come out of their homes. Some people told they were not to leave their homes. You're really seeing how important each and every donation, no matter how big or how small, really is here in the town of Moore right now. We are really in the heart of Moore right now, and as we drive around this morning, we are really beginning to get our arms around just how bad the devastation is here in this small Oklahoma town. What we are standing in front of now, we have moved locations again, and yes, this is in fact a bowling alley. We've kind of moved our vantage point here from our 5 o'clock hour. You can actually still see the seats sitting in place, the ball return. We've seen a couple bowling balls. You can even see the alleys still intact, but all around it, complete destruction. It looks like the building was just flattened, several stories in some locations just right on top of each other this morning. And the eerie part of this is right near the medical center that was also damaged. This area believed to have taken a direct hit, but there's an IMAX theater and a few other things around here that almost look perfectly intact. Really, you can't turn a corner here in Moore without finding a different story. And late last night, we ran into some volunteers who had come here to town to try to help out. They were reminding us not only to worry about all the damage and devastation and cleanup and the humans, but also the pets. You hear about this all too often. We have some footage of a little dog named Bella, a service dog, who they actually had outfitted late yesterday with some special booties, and these booties are to protect animals from all of the debris. There's so much broken glass and shards of wood, and the animals here in this area, this 17-mile swath that was damaged by this tornado, just filled with debris, and these animals unfortunately are getting hurt. So these little booties are something that this family found, and this little boy said it's really made all the difference in having his service dog down here, and again trying to aid and assist and help people. So just another reminder, the little things that those of us not impacted here and more, we don't think about this. Earlier, our last live shot, we talked about the importance of just being able to charge your cell phone. Now talking about your animals and, of course, clean water. And there are reports of possible even gas outages as well, still power outages. So a lot of concerns still here for the people of Moore, Oklahoma. And we will be here throughout the day and continue to bring you live updates. For now, live in Moore, Kristen Farley, 6 News.
6 News anchor Kristen Farley joining us now with all the latest of the situation there. Good morning, Kristen.
We are standing now on kind of the front end of a shopping center area, also near that medical center that was completely decimated by the tornado here in Moore, Oklahoma. What you're looking at here behind me, an all too familiar sight. Damaged cars, the orange X marking that these cars have been checked for survivors. That way, rescuers and emergency crews know not to recheck this vehicle. We are seeing countless cars. It is the one thing we have noticed all across Moore over our last 24 hours here. Now, if you take a look around just to give you an idea of how strong these winds are, look inside this small SUV. You can actually see the rear of it was sucked out by the force of the wind. We have sticks and debris just tossed in there, piercing through the back seats. Speakers appear to have been just lifted right out of here. And as you take a look now behind me, I'm trying to dodge some of the debris here. You can see endless vehicles all throughout the area. Again, all of them with those orange X's marking that they have been cleared. We're seeing snapped power poles, billboards. It's just a scene unlike one I've ever seen before. And Bo and Tirsa, it's just really hard to put into words, and just a few images really can't do it justice for what we are seeing here in Moore, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Chris, and I'm sure it's got to be tough to put into words and to actually be there and see this. But we are noticing also, I mean, there is some traffic. We see some activity behind you. So, I mean, obviously people are trying to move on as best they can.
Yeah, Bo, I think what you're seeing up here behind me is possibly some of the interstate traffic. Now, yesterday, because of the number of onlookers coming into Moore, they actually had that, I don't want to say blocked, but it was at a standstill, and they were not letting anyone get off except for media and emergency crews to get into the town from the interstate. I was told at one point it took more than an hour for people just to get from Oklahoma City to Moore. Normally that's kind of like a 10 or 15 minute trip. That is how many onlookers there were. We also heard this morning the mayor really emphasizing that unless you are here already assigned a duty, that really they have enough emergency responders, and that people are now just simply kind of getting in the way of the recovery here.
We are live in Moore this morning. 6 News anchor Kristen Farley joining us now with the very latest on the situation there. Good morning, Kristen.
Bo and Tirsa, the sun just beginning to come up here in the Oklahoma area, really shedding light on the landscape here that is just absolutely polluted with debris, twisted metal, branches just about everywhere. We're actually getting our first look at some of the damage across the interstate now that we can see trees just snapped, billboards folded in half. Again, we are not far from Moore Medical Center, one of the buildings that has been in the news quite a bit since Monday. They were able to actually evacuate all of the patients safely. Again, you see all of the damage here behind me. This is the Warren Theater Shopping Center in Moore. That was a bowling alley back there behind me. And again, you might also notice the endless sea of lights. Some of them floodlights for emergency crews still working, a lot of them media. And we're not just talking from here locally or here around the United States, but really all around the world. We've spotted several international crews here as well, continuing to cover the cleanup and the recovery here and Moore. We will be here throughout the day and continue our reports for you, again, coming up on 6 News at 5. For now, live in Moore, Oklahoma, Kristen Farley, 6 News.